Rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Moines County Board of Supervisors, Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Are there any changes to the tentative agenda?
I have none.
We have an agenda. Meet with the department head.
The very first thing on the agenda, the suspension of the DHS list. We're contacting Sarah to make sure that DHS has actually seen that list first. So we'll let you know as soon as Carla comes in and gives us a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Okay, so we'll slide it down a little lower on the,
If she hasn't heard from her by then.
okay,
yeah.
if she does, we don't hear, we'll take it off, but we might back up 5A. Meet with department heads, elected officials. Moines County Budget Director Cheryl McVeigh
Good morning.
with the auditor's office.
So Monday is a holiday and the courts will be open, but the county offices will be closed. So Sarah is asking that you get your payrolls in by Friday, the 16th. If you have people that work over the weekend, please get those hours in by Tuesday morning and let Sue know as soon as you have entered those, so she can get payroll form. So if anybody has any questions about it, you know where I'm at. That's all I have.
Thank you, Cheryl. Colin Durst, IT.
Good morning. Just keeping busy like always. Nothing really new to report.
Thank you, Colin. Sheriff Glenn Denny.
Good morning. Plenty going on. Deputies are busy, but no really major news for the board on that front. The jail's full as it has been. We're at 88 adults, plus 3 juveniles. We have 17 adults out of county. So we have quite a few going out this week. I think at least 3 scheduled, but you guys know how those numbers go, which is why we're having a work session after the meeting today to talk about maybe some options.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yep.
Zach James, land use.
Good morning. Not a whole lot of news going on here for land use. Got a couple subdivisions in the works. One was actually already approved, but had an issue with the recording, waiting on something, and they finally got that straightened out. So it's gonna end up coming back to you guys here probably in the next couple weeks for reapproval. And then got a couple other ones that kind of working through, but otherwise, it's kind of business as usual.
Thanks, Zach. Chris Lee, Conservation.
Good morning. Thursday is our ribbon cutting and open house at the Ranger House of the Big Hollow. So that'll be the official opening of that facility. The ribbon cutting will be at 3 o'clock and open house for the 3 hours after that. So you can go check it out, and reservations will go live that day as well.
Chris, what's that, you're gonna rent for an evening or a night?
$125 for a weekday, $150 for a weekend.
150 per week.
Thanks, Chris. Bob, I almost called on you.
Don't bother.
See if you're.
Nothing's happening, believe me. What'd you say about reservations?
They will go live on Thursday.
Janelle Nally Longquist, Moines County Treasurer.
Good morning. Nothing new to report. We're keeping busy though.
Thanks, Janelle. Shannon Prado, Emergency Management.
Just like the last few weeks, just the weather spotter course that's happening on February 20th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Capitol Theater. But otherwise, just getting my feet going without Gina for the first week.
So you're soloing pretty good then.
So far, so good.
There you go. Good for you.
I've heard nothing but good reports.
So good.
Thanks, Shannon. Rodney Bleasner, Maintenance.
Good morning, just staying busy. Got a health department construction update meeting later this afternoon. I stopped out there Friday. It's moving right along. So.
Looks like a building now.
Yeah, they kind of got the exterior up, the roof truss is set in. A lot of it's just kind of set in place. kinda tacked in, they got a lot of welding and stuff to go, but, so it's moving right along, so it's good to see progress. And you see for quite a few months, they've been out there, obviously weather's kinda set some of that back, but it didn't look like much was happening, but last couple of weeks, it looks like they got a lot done, but, they're moving right along. Like I say, we'll have an updated meeting later this afternoon. Had a safety committee meeting last week. Other than that, just have an agenda item, keep them busy.
Thanks, Rodney.
Thank you.
Lisa Schaefer, Des Moines County Attorney.
First, Monday is not our office's holiday. We take that on Martin Luther King Day in conjunction with the state. So our office will be open and everyone will be working. Other than that, we're just staying really, really busy.
Thank you, Lisa. Krista Poggemiller, Public Health.
Good morning. We're busy as well, and I agree with Rodney. We drove by the public health building, and we're making great progress, so the weather's been good to us.
Brian Carter, Secondary Roads.
Good morning. Few items on the agenda for getting contracts signed or approved, or however you wanna put that. So a lot of progress on that front. We did a bid opening yesterday for, some steel work on a small bridge in the bottoms, which, we've had on our radar for quite a while. So it was good to get that bid. We had 3 bidders, which is a rarity for a small bridge, so that was good competition. And so yeah, things are moving along, and did hear from, had a quick conversation, see if that's on here or not, with the contractor that was the low bidder for our 2 ARPA bridges. And right now, I think the late start date is somewhere in June, off the top of my head, I can't remember the exact date. And right now, they think they're gonna be out there in that late May, June time period for starting work on either one of those bridges, so, which is fine. We were flexible, or we were comfortable with that timing when we set it up, so if I know more, I'll pass it on, but for right now, we had thought maybe they would come in and start working in the winter, and they have other projects that they're gonna be at, so it sounds like they're gonna move their start time back a little ways, so.
Who is that contractor?
Iowa Bridge and Culver.
Iowa Bridge and Culver.
Yep.
They aren't gonna do them at the same time, are they? We're gonna do.
Very possibly.
Or might do 2 of them
Yeah,
at a time.
yeah, in fact, the sounds of it the other day, or from yesterday, we didn't ask them specifically, but they kind of suggested that they may be here with 2 crews working on both bridges at the same time. So, I mean, they're really pretty basic bridges in the world of bridge work, and it doesn't mean it happens overnight by any means, but they're pretty straightforward. So, in their world, they're about as simple as a project as you can get, so. And actually, if they were to wait till June to start, that's probably a best case timeframe overall for our system, because you've missed planting season then for the harvest, for the farming side of it. Obviously you then, especially on the northern one, Highway 99, when you end up with some summer traffic on gravel roads, obviously, because there'll be a detour route in the bottoms for that, but it would kind of, if they waited till June, it would kind of squeeze it in between both main farming seasons. It would squeeze it in between planting season and get done before harvest was the goal of those, so, or at least the front end of harvest, so, that's not in the world if that ends up being the timing. The biggest challenge will still be is when does the golf course road paving project occur in relation to the Upper Flint Bridge project, because, and there's just no way we could guarantee that they wouldn't happen at the same time. We did our best on all the scheduling and kind of pre-timeframes we put in, but there's just no way to outguess what contractor schedules will do, and we have not actually communicated yet with the low bidder for the golf course road paving project, because you guys are gonna approve, ultimately you're gonna approve Becky signing the agreement on behalf of Tom today, and once we have that agreement signed, then we'll go ahead and reach out to them and talk schedules just to see if they have any idea or not, so. But
What are those each about 3-month projects if you're gonna do them one at a time?
I'd say best case is probably 3.5 months, and I could see it being just a bit more, just losing some days for holidays and mixed in, and then some weather days and kind of stuff like that, so, but I'd say best case is probably 3.5 months. And it could easily go, I could say 4 months, and I probably wouldn't be that far off, so, which, all things considered, is actually about as short as you're gonna build a bridge. But like I said, these are pretty basic bridges, and that's a good thing for us, so. But, yeah, so, that doesn't really hurt my time. I mean, if they come in June, that doesn't hurt my feelings. I think that's a good time frame for that work to happen. And, so, but as I know more, as we know more, we'll pass it on to both you guys and to the general public as we know it. I did meet with the Levy and Drainage District Board this morning. Becky wanted me to let you guys know, so say good morning and, say hi. So, but met with them, and really just another chance to update and get information out so they can go pass it on to their families and neighbors and stuff like that. And they always have a few questions here or there, so I don't get down there real often, but it's always worthwhile, so I appreciated them giving me some time on their agenda. They actually start their meeting a half hour early when I'm coming to allow me time to get done with them and get down here on time, so appreciate that time. Otherwise, there's plenty of stuff going on behind the scenes, but some point I may nab one of you at a time, all three of you, whatever it works out. I need to run through and show, I'm gonna do a little extra research, but a couple years ago, you probably don't remember, I know I brought it up, but if you go down to the Bridgeport Bridge, which is down south of Geo, there's the old bridge downstream. And there was a guy that came around a couple years ago about that bridge and taking care of it. Well, 20-some years ago, that's considered a historic bridge, and 20-some years ago, there was some agreement signed that the counties would try to work together. It actually involved the conservation departments to maintain the integrity of the bridge, or something to that effect. Well, I don't think anybody did anything, from what I can tell. I think everybody just signed it because they needed to build a new bridge, and that's what they had to do to build the new bridge. That's the blackmail world of dealing with historic bridges. I got a call from the Lee County engineer, and it's failing substantially at this point. What brought it to his attention. So there is no access from the north end anymore. The road, the old road's long gone. In fact, if you went through there, you would, I never realized it, to be honest with you. The old road is long gone on the north end. In fact, you really gotta look downstream to even know there's an old bridge there. On the south end, however, there is a little gravel stub over through some conservation property over to it. And I think a couple weeks ago, he got a call that there was somebody out fishing on it, so he was gonna go down and ask him to get off the bridge, cause it's not supposed, you're not supposed to be on it. But it sounds like it's failing at a pretty rapid rate at this point, so, some point I might grab you guys so you can just have a visual and kinda see what I'm talking about, cause we're gonna have to deal with, counties together are gonna have to deal with some sort of demo at some point to get that thing dealt with, because it's, the last thing anybody wants is that thing falling into the river and starting to block up, debris or flow or something like that, so.
Let me guess, you're gonna have the 3 board members go out there and inspect it.
I'd like you to hop up and down, just to see. Well, I mean, I thought you might be up for the risk, but I guess if we can get some life jackets, we might still have some around from 2008. I think we had some life jackets back in then when the river was flooding. So, but anyway, that topic came up yesterday. I had a conversation with Lee County, and I'll probably catch you guys a little bit on the side sometime and just kind of give you as much background as I can give you. There's actually a letter from that I have to give Ben Hull, the Lee County engineer, credit on this. He put about 100 times more effort into this than I did, because when he called me a couple years ago, and when that guy called me, I told him that Des Moines County wasn't spending a dime to rehab that bridge while I was here. That wasn't where our money was gonna go, no matter how much, because there's only one guy from what I can gather that's got any attachment to it. He's the one that kind of brought attention back to the bridge. And it's long past any sort of restoration at this point. But there's actually a letter from the county engineer back in that time frame suggesting that Des Moines County was transferring the ownership of that whole thing on their side of it to the conservation department. So I don't know if any of that ever happened. I sure hope it did. But either way,
It's an
kind
official
of,
letter.
yeah, I can print her out. I don't know that it ever happened though. That's my guess is that it probably never happened. I'm sure. So, either way, that's kind of out there and kind of came up and might be an unanticipated expense. We agreed yesterday on the phone that Lee County was gonna work to get some kind of like condemned, no trespassing kind of signs, just to put on both ends of it to try to drive the point home for people to stay off of it. But it's certainly something we're gonna also talk further about the possibility of working towards some sort of demo or something, which obviously has some expense tied to it. So I'll let you know more as I know more, but it kind of reared its head yesterday, so.
I remember you taking us out, showing us that here about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, well, good. I didn't remember that. I remember we talked about it. So, it was, like I said, it was a bigger topic down there, that whoever came to our board meeting, because he did come to our board meeting, he spent a lot more time peppering the Lee County board and the Lee County engineer down there. I'm guessing because when he came to us and came to me, I just said, we're out. I mean, we don't have enough money anyway, and that is not where we're gonna be spending it, so, sorry, but good luck in Lee County, because it's not happening here. That's still where we're at, but, either way, just giving you a heads up on that.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Think I missed anybody? Correspondence. Either of you gentlemen have any correspondence? I haven't. Proceed to discussion and vote. We currently haven't gotten a high sign on it.
It has not gone to DHS, so why don't we remove it for today, and we'll take a look at that list first.
That'll work. Okay, we have a Class C liquor license for the Liquor Mart. I spoke to the sheriff, and he has no issues with that at all.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Cheryl?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Okay. We have the City of Middletown Law Enforcement Agreement for fiscal '25 with Des Moines County Law Enforcement.
Move to approve.
Second. Cheryl?
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yeah.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Have approval of contract rock documents. I'm guessing this is you, Brian.
Yeah, seems like it would be. So I've got 2 contracts in front of you guys. I'm gonna expand on this just a little bit, even though a lot of people here have already heard this, but, anyway, we did a bid for rock haul. We do this every other year. We have 2 bidders, and normally there's a third quarry that jumps in, but honestly, I can't remember the last time they got any of the roads, so I'm guessing this year they got busy and just didn't bother putting in. So one of the contracts is with Dowd Stone, and I can give you guys these numbers. You don't have to necessarily memorize them as I read them off, but and it's the much smaller one. The total of Dowd Stone's contract, which is mostly the roads south of Burlington, because that's their service area. They're south of Burlington. Is $53,295. The second contract is with L&W Quarries, and it's much larger because it's a much larger service area, and that's where those roads generally are. It's $247,045 and no cents. And I'm gonna give a little bit of background on this, but I would recommend approval of both of these. I have worked with Cheryl, they were a bit higher than we had anticipated, but again, we haven't done this for 2 years, and I think we experienced 2 years of inflation all in this bid as far as the cost of getting rock on the ground. Because we have seen the increases in the cost of rock level out on our side of it. So I think actually probably, while I can't tell you the exact split, my guess is a bigger portion of the increase we're seeing from 2 years ago is in the trucking costs, not so much the rock production costs, is my suspicion. But I also want to give the board credit where credit's due, and I think if anybody in the general public were paying attention to this, which it's not really their job, they shouldn't have to, they would also give credit because this program allows our rocking program to expand out and allows us to actually have a program that we can say that every road in the county, every rock road in the county gets rocked every other year. This tonnage, and this is paid for out of rural services directly, not out of my budget directly, so there's a line there, a difference there. And this program is specifically what allows that to happen. And I think it has paid dividends on the quality of our gravel roads. And I think it's always nice when somebody calls and says, you haven't rocked my road in 10 years. Well, you know it's been rocked every 2 years. I think I can think of one instance, Jim had a call, there was a little dead end road where we actually missed it on the program, went back, found out we hadn't done it, so we did it. And the dead ends sometimes catch that because we can't run our semis on those, so you have to pay attention. But in general, it's a good program. It's not a cheap program, but it's a good program, and I think it really helps our roads. And so I would recommend approval of both contracts, one with Dowds and one with L&W. And again, this is contract hauls, so whenever this happens, this will be local contractors hauling this. So it does actually help a little bit, that local economic side of it too. You employ a few truck drivers. And we do inspection during it also, so we have an inspector with these the whole time they're running to make sure we're getting the right amount of rock onto the road, so.
Move to approve both contracts.
Second. Cheryl?
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. We have a approval of a contract for the golf course road paving. I think that Brian mentioned this earlier. Speak to it again.
Yeah, I'll jump in here real quick. I'm gonna start out by this one, and I should have let in the whole thing. I've been doing nothing but talking about bids and bid openings and stuff like that for about a month now. And I wanna give credit to my office, specifically Becky and Devin, but the office as a whole also. Everything you guys are approving, everything you're doing, all this money we're spending, none of this happens without the work behind the scenes. I'm really just the pretty face, and they actually do the real work. So anyway, a ton of credit to them because I get to sit here and, you know, you guys get to go through and sign stuff and it's all in a perfect form and the numbers are right and everything else. And I'm sure everybody here that's a department head would attest to the fact that a lot of that stuff that happens is because of the good people working with us every single day. So credit to them. This is a different process than it used to be. It used to be I'd actually put a contract in front of the board and you guys would sign it. You're really just approving, Becky acting on your behalf, Tom as the chairman to do the electronic signature because it's all electronic now. But what you have is a contract. I don't know if you have a copy of the actual contract or not, but I have it if you really want to see it. This is for the.
We've got a copy of the contract here,
Okay.
and at the end is the
Yep.
digital document.
Yep, so this is the paving of the hill, the concrete paving of the hill. on Golf Course Road. So really a short project. What really surprised me on this one is the number of bidders, other than the cost. And the cost hit our estimate really well. Our engineering estimate was 670, and I was skeptical of that, so I actually used, in my budgeting purpose, I used a round number, 700,000. And I think the competition helped us. But the low bidder was Jones Contracting, $650,507.77. The surprising part to me, and I think it goes a long ways towards maybe summarizing where we're at economically, at least around here. We had 6 bidders on a project that's, in the world of concrete paving, is tiny. I mean, I honestly don't think I've seen 6 bidders on a paving job since I've been here. And that's big or small. So that's showing me that there's maybe not enough work out there for contractors to be. So Jones is more of a local type out of West Point, and we're happy to work with them. We've done a lot of work with them, but the next bidder was 694,000. So that's also where competition makes a big difference for you. But like I said, in the high bidder, just to give you an idea of what competition gets you, I guess, the high bidder was 821,000. So I'm really happy that we had some people that really went after it. So I would recommend approval of the contract with Jones Contracting, and we look forward to working with them also.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Cheryl.
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes.
Brian, tonight, go home and look in the mirror about that pretty thing.
Oh, okay. Must have been told wrong. Can't remember who mentioned that to me.
Let's see if we can do each one of these. Here's the next one after that one. That's after that. I'll give you guys each one so you don't have to wonder what we're doing.
We always wonder what you do.
Okay, these are the first one, the personnel ones, these are the bond requests. You're welcome.
How come there's no last names? Cheryl.
Well, I know who they are.
Okay.
I'm sure those names are available if you call the office.
Yes.
You know,
Well,
oh, go ahead.
You guys okay? We'll go through these, and how would you like to rotate voting, have something like that? I guess I'll start out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the attorney's office, 5% raise. And I know Lisa talked to us about, I know she's trying to hire an attorney, and so I did the same thing last year. I looked at the assistant attorney website or the attorney's website and lists all the ads for attorneys, and we're better than we were last year, but we're
A lot of those are for new attorneys, though. Most of my attorneys have been with us for several
Okay,
years.
yeah.
And have anywhere from 5 to 10 years' experience. So they are probably about $10,000 to $15,000 a year underpaid relative to their position, relative to other counties with their experience.
And I appreciate that, but cold-hearted bastard I am. I'm not concerned about somebody being underpaid. I'm concerned about what's it take to keep somebody, or what's it take to hire somebody. And I know the problems with hiring attorneys that you're having on everybody in the state. So you've got 5 of your people with them. There's the promotion, which I don't have a problem with. So I would move that we just do in one motion, all 5 of the attorneys, approve all 5 of the attorneys' requests. I would vote yes. I vote yes on that.
Yes.
Then we've got a recorder. We have a second deputy from 57% to 59%. Recorder's request.
I would vote yes
I'm yes on that. I would vote yes on that myself. We have the sheriff's clerk one to, promoted to civil assistant, civil administrative assistant.
Yes.
42,429 to 51,379. So you guys both yes?
Yes.
Yes on that.
Okay, yes on that as well. We have, the precinct election chairs, the election workers and the election chairs increased from, for the election chairs from $12 to $14 an hour, and the precinct election workers per hour is $10 to $12 per hour. And I know that's always an issue getting those people, so, I'm a yes on those.
Yep. That's
We have a domestic violence intervention program. Current amount is $0. They requested $2,000. I guess we already give money to the local domestic violence. This particular one, and I believe, is out of Iowa City. Anyway, I'm a no on that.
all right.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Okay. Then we have the fair board, 6.5% or 6.25% increase from 80,000 to 85,000. Yes, the fair board.
Oh, yes on that.
I'm yes on that.
I'm yes on that. You get all those, Cheryl?
I got them.
Then we've got requested bond projects. We've got the, sheriff's got 3 squad cars and builds, $172,000. We've been trying to keep the sheriff up to date on, so his fleet doesn't end like it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So I went, that's for $172,000 for the squad cars and builds.
Yes.
I'm yes on that.
Yes, I'm yes on that. Then we have, Lexipol software, that's the program that's supposed to cut down on us being sued. So,
We're definitely yes on that.
so we've got that for the sheriff and the jail. It's $12,275 for the sheriff and $8,100 for the software. I'm a yes on both of those.
Yep.
Yep.
We've got a 2008 Chevy 2500 pickup replacement for conservation for $50,057. I'm a yes on that.
Yes.
I'm yes on both.
Okay. And we've got a 31,112 Chevy Bolt EUV compact SUV.
I'm a no on that because it's what it is.
I'm a no on that as well.
I'm a yes on that.
Okay. Then we've got the maintenance, and this is primarily, this isn't we're allowed to fund things through debt service, and this is stuff that Rodney's already gonna do that fits the criteria to be allowed to be done under that levy. So we do this to save money on the levy, so I'm a yes on the $150,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Maintenance has a new truck and plow for $59,400.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. New Kubota for maintenance, $13,700.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a yes. We have, the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are for IT, and we talked about most of these. I'm gonna read through them. Do that. Well, I guess we can go through it. New, Tyler Property Management and Cash Sharing, this is required. We don't have any choice but to get this for $56,500.
Yep.
I'm a yes. We have a Tyler Eagle Recorder, that's required purchase.
Yeah.
We don't have any choice for $17,000, I'm a yes.
Yes.
Tyler Encode, I don't remember what it is, but it's required. We have time to go through there. $73,500, I'm a yes on that.
Yep.
We have laptops for the county attorney.
Yes.
that They both made such eloquent pleas for, so I'm a yes on that. We have Stars Cave rack recabling for $5,000.
I'm a yes on
Yes.
I'm a yes on that. Colin got that because he showed us pictures of what's out there. We have Verkada cameras. We've been wanting to update for 63 to 65 cameras that we've talked about for 2 years for $120,000. I'm a yes on that. Windows Server 2022 license for $33,000. I'm a yes. We have the sheriff vehicle connectivity that I think the board, I'm kind of excited about this, that you'll be able to, now, tell me if I say this wrong, if he brings in a vehicle that has dash cam footage on it, he has to sit there in that parking lot until that footage can be downloaded. And it might take 45 minutes or whatever, and if it's interrupted, they have to start again. This will allow them to download that while it's out in the county, and quite a bit faster. So I'm glad I think we can afford that.
Yep.
Department switch upgrades,
Yes.
could come sooner or later. I'm a yes on that.
Yep.
And we have election laptops for the auditor.
Yes.
I think wherever we're gonna do that, this is the year we have to do it. So I'm a yes on that.
Yep.
Does that get them, Carol? Cheryl?
I'm gonna throw some.
Oh, wow.
I was trying not to say Sarah, and that just came out.
I'm a no on that. I'm a no on that one, just so you know.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not facing.
Oops.
That's gonna cost you.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the charge is gonna be.
Okay, we have personnel. Personnel actions for maintenance and for the treasurer. For maintenance, we have Alex Schnedler, lead maintenance, a 30-month step increase. The previous rate was $39,375.96. The new rate is $40,200.12.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Cheryl?
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Jeff Heelan?
Oh, you are doing it today. You are doing it, C-Man.
Well, I guess we're even.
Oh, man. Yeah, running down, I almost missed this. I almost missed it, man. Oh, yeah.
Okay. We have the treasurer's department. We have Jillian Allen, clerk 2 motor vehicle department, a step increase. The previous rate was $34,018.31 a year. The new rate is $34,764.90 a year.
Move to approve.
Second.
Cheryl?
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. Okay, we have I'm still a little shaken. We have minutes from the regular meeting of February 6th, 2024.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Cheryl?
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. Any other business? Cheryl's taking care of hers. Future agenda items.
Okay, Sarah sent out an email to let the department heads know that there will be a work session on the 20th regarding the process of workman's compensation and how it will be handled from here on out. So she wants everyone to attend or have someone from your office who does time cards to attend.
Any other future agenda items? I have none. Committee reports.
The conservation meeting, they're working on getting a rate for the Ranger House, which I think they came up with. Also, floodplain permit process for Stars Cave, get that squared away. And then they had a community outdoor recreation education program, they talked about that as well. And you said the price was $125 weekday, $150 weekend on the Ranger House. That's bad. Oh, I did, wasn't a meeting, but I did see our county attorney and the sheriff down at the,
Jail?
down at the jail. They were locked up, down at the auditorium for the, Crime Stoppers, and they recognized, 3 of the officers of the, who were the 3 officers?
Chad McCune, for our office, Clay Beckman for the, Burlington PD, and then, Latron Covert for West Burlington.
Anyways, it was a nice event, it was good to see, representation, and, congratulations on the 3 officers. That's all I've got.
I attended the CIT committee, and they had the, Jenny from, the, Mobile Crisis here, I haven't got her, Stevenson, Jenny Stevenson from Mobile Crisis anyway, and said that, in December, they had 41 calls, 16 from Des Moines County, and January was 24 calls with 6 in Des Moines County, but she said February is starting out busy. Said the majority of them were community, self, or family that reached out to them, and there were more of those than law enforcement, so I think that's probably a good thing.
The information's out there and they're reaching out to the resource, so.
Yeah, and they had an interesting discussion about some, I'd say frequent flyers, but regular people that you both know that they had somebody there from the hospital that they were tossing back and forth ideas, and they were gonna reach out to try to help that handful of individuals so that, they can get the care and be a little safer than they are for themselves. And attended the Des Moines County Safety Committee, and Shannon mentioned the weather spotter training for February 20th at the Capitol Theater from 6 to 8. And then tentatively April 5th with April 12th as a backup, there will be an active shooter training here at the courthouse. So there will be more information on that as it nears. That's all I have.
That's our jury trial, just FYI.
Just to add to, Tom, I forgot that, just for you, Jim, our RFPs are going out for a Big Hollow for the beach walkways. I know that have been a big thing that you were concerned about. RFPs are going out this week, I believe, for that. So just bring that up.
But now, is that gonna go from the parking lot down, or are you gonna have to go down to Bow Branch?
So we've got it broken up into options, so it's gonna be, so the scope of work for the grant was all the stuff around the beach.
Yeah.
And then depending on how bids come in, we're gonna come up that trail and then pave parking there too. Yep.
Great. That's good news.
Yeah.
Okay. Time for public input. If anybody would like to have any questions or comment, you can email the Board of Supervisors at board@dmcounty.com. That's BOARD@dmcounty.com. You may call 319-753-8203, extension 4. That's 319-753-8203, extension 4. We'll give you 2 minutes to initiate that email or that call, and in the meantime, anybody in attendance have any questions or comments? Bob Univerfields.
My job. On the domestic violence program, you all voted no on that, is that correct?
Well,
Okay.
that was, yeah, I voted no, I'm not speaking for the,
I voted no on it.
But we give money to domestic violence, that
Well,
was, that
no,
was
but
another
locally,
arm.
this is
Yeah,
not
that was
local.
another arm, so I,
That's
thanks,
what I wanted to ask is, why did you vote no? Because it's in Iowa City, right?
because it's a different one. We have one, we
Good enough.
we support the one that's local, the local here, the local domestic
And
violence.
we give them money every year
program.
And you voted no too.
for that one, but we give domestic violence money every year.
I know that.
Okay.
Thanks.
I was asked to, because the news media is gonna be here, I had a meeting and, talking to a gentleman, or a lady, I mean, and, there's rumors going around that Sylvan was gonna lay off. That's totally a rumor. Don't buy into it. They're busy, and, they're still looking for help, from what I understand.
That's correct.
People put too much into social media,
I hear that.
so.
That's funny that you said that.
They seen a lot of trucks out there loading up stuff, and they was, and it just, the rumors just spread, you know, so. Well, they're solvent, and they're still in business, so.
I would just add to that, get a clarification, because, you know, you can always find the answers on social media, but that doesn't mean that's the answer by any means. So, I had somebody tell me, they said, where you been? You've been around for a long time. I was like, what are you talking about? I said, I've been running through Des Moines County like 40 going north. They were talking about Facebook. So, well, I haven't seen you on Facebook. I said, well, Facebook's not real life, man, it's just Facebook. I'm still here, so, yeah, get clarification, don't just take Facebook as the gospel, it's not.
On that topic, I want to mention something. The district engineer, the DOT district engineer contacted me last week. He presented at Southeast Iowa Days, which I did not attend. But he just wanted to get some clarification. This doesn't involve in Des Moines County, but the DOT has been actively working on the 4-lane north of here, obviously, and the bypass around Wapello has been a hot topic of discussion, particularly up in that area, which is understandable. Anytime the DOT is doing something like that, it's a topic of conversation. And apparently there were rumors flying around that they were gonna walk away from the project and stuff like that. What they are doing is they're gonna put things temporarily on hold for the Wapello bypass and try to address, try to find some ways to save some money. They said the current estimate for that, because of the amount of mileage and the amount of bridges, is that's approaching 170 million. And they're gonna try to find some economies of scale, savings, whatever you wanna put it. I think they're still committed to it. In fact, he gave me, the release that he gave out. I think there's some other things they wanna talk to the local entities about, also. So I just wanted to pass it on to you that, he wanted to let me know and said I could pass it on, that, in fact, he even emailed me his very specific written out statement that he provided up there, because immediately after that meeting, he started getting calls from people basically saying the DOT was quitting and they're not doing anything else, and none of that's true, but they are gonna try to find some savings. So, sounds like they're gonna probably delay it a little bit and hopefully get things moving again and go from there. So just thought I'd pass that on to you, on some other stuff that was going on relating to Highway 61.
Thanks, Brian. Anybody else? 2 minutes are up, so with an aye, we're adjourned. We've got a work session following and with the sheriff. Moines County Sheriff regarding a construction estimate for a jail exercise area remodel. Kevin, that would be you.
Yes, sir. So I'll just dive right in. We've talked a little bit about this already in our budget meeting. Actually, we had a meeting probably a couple years ago with Samuel's group, reference the same thought. We've talked to other construction management companies in the past as well. But we're revisiting this. It does seem like a decent time to maybe get some competitive bids. And as we look at our out-of-county housing, just a few numbers that I'll throw out to you. I took the average of the last 7 years, but I threw out 1 year that was extremely low due to COVID, where our populations were just much lower. We averaged about 243,000 annually in out-of-county housing, and that's an average of about 13.3 inmates per day. And we're on track to be above that this year. It's our facility, we can house up to 68 more than 24 hours, and with that, we're undersized in comparison to other comparable counties. I think that the plan that we're looking at, we've ran it through a couple different companies that have that expertise and experience in building correctional centers. And the 18-bed addition looks very feasible. They even came up with up to 20, but the way we want to have the maximum security cells, it looks like that 18 is going to be a really happy number. That said, we're looking at a remodel. The square footage of the gym is about 1,075 square foot. We're looking at probably 1,800 square feet when we add the second story, the second level to that. The gym is really designed like down to the inch to become a housing unit. That does appear to be the original way it was designed, and that was always what was passed down from those in the past that had involvement in it, that was the possibility of the future if we ever needed to expand housing. Right now, we're paying $50 out of county to Lee County, $60 out of county to Henry County for housing our inmates. There's some counties out there that are charging $75. We anticipate that, I don't know how long $50 a day is gonna hold on, so that's kind of the number we're at right now, but we have been very, continue to have a great relationship with Henry and Lee County to be able to help house our inmates, and that's really been a good economical choice up to this point. As we look at it, we don't save $50 per day when we start housing the inmates, because we have to pay for their medical, we have to pay for their food, and then there's other supplies, the inmate uniforms, the mattresses, blankets, all that stuff that just add up. There'll probably be some addition in utilities, because you're taking one big room and making it into much smaller rooms. Those kind of things, and really to put a number on that, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm thinking somewhere around $20 per day is where we're at. That it's gonna cost for us to house the inmates after the construction is done. And that's when we look at the current costs. So there's basically a $30 savings per day per inmate is the way I'm looking at the math. So on the second page that I gave you, all the way down to the bottom, that's just our 5-year capital improvement plan, but all the way down at the bottom, I put the line that says estimated out-of-county housing saving with 15 beds on that spreadsheet. And that shows the estimate if we're saving $30 per bed per year, and then I grew it up to $40 per bed in the years thereafter as we see those out-of-county housing costs grow. So in like a 4-year time frame, we can save about $821,000. And of course, there's always additional expenses, and that's what I'm talking about with the utilities and whatnot. All of this is dependent upon not having to expand staffing, so that's why we did a staffing survey. There's nothing in code that says how many you have to have on staff. What it states is you have to have one of each gender. If you're gonna house females, you have to have a female on staff. If you're gonna house males, you have to have a male on staff. But we want to be within the norms, and we're well within that, even with the expansion. If we were to expand up into the 80s, the 82 to 85 bed, becoming an 82 to 85 bed facility, and that's what that survey is on the third page. But jumping back, we've reached out to a couple different companies. One company, Samuels Group, they've built a lot of facilities. I think I sent the board a link to their website that has their experiences. Another one is Midwest Construction Management, and we also spoke with Carl A. Nelson, who brought in Shive Hattery, and they're another, they specialize in correctional centers and jail builds. The numbers we've come back with, Samuels Group came back with $10,000 to put together. They put in a formal proposal, $10,000 to put together drawings, a preliminary design with the concept that we put together, and then also an estimate of the construction cost. We also just got the estimate back from Midwest Construction Consultants. They happen to be out of Houghton, but they built jails all over Iowa and in the Midwest. He built the Henry County Jail, he's building the Jackson County Jail, he built the Appanoose County Jail, and this is, in comparison to a lot of those projects, this is a relatively small project, so it's, in my mind, it's pretty helpful to have somebody that has experience with that, that's local. And what we've seen is that their costs for construction tend to be a little bit lower. And we're not looking for a shiny new building that's gonna be on the front of a magazine. We're just looking to make this a functional, usable housing unit, and this seems to be a pretty good fit. But he came back with his estimate was, sorry, and he puts in here, our firm has been involved in planning and construction of 44 correctional facilities. We've reviewed the plan for the facility as we are currently working on 2 projects with one of the architects involved in the original design. Our understanding is the county wants to determine the feasibility of converting one of the exercise areas into a maximum and medium maximum security cell pod to minimize inmate out-of-county housing costs being experienced. He puts in the scope of work, which would include architectural drawings, working with the state jail inspector and fire marshal, review and approve the preliminary plans with the sheriff, county board of supervisors, and state jail inspector, and provide estimates of probable cost for the renovation, and then put together those drawings. His costs are county would contract with the architect to develop the schematic plans, and fees would be in the range of $5,000. Midwest Construction Consultant fees would be in the range of $3,500 to $4,000. Plus he puts a mileage rate in here of 62 cents per mile for direct costs for mileage and direct costs for document printing. So he's in that $10,000 range as well, and local, and I feel like that the number will probably be more in line with what would be feasible for us. He gave us a preliminary estimate that I told him I wouldn't hold him to, but he thought somewhere around $250 to $300 per square foot. We're looking at 1,800 square foot, so that number to me seems like a pretty good number. I mean, even if you call it 2,000 square foot at $300 a square foot, we'd be at $600,000. That seems like a number that would be in line with really considering this as an option moving forward. But what we're asking for at this point is to use approximately $10,000 out of our inmate commissary funds. This is inmate revenue that comes in, and what the law requires is that it be used for the good or towards inmate needs. This certainly fits within the expansion what we're looking at. So I'm asking to use approximately $10,000 out of that fund, which currently has a balance of $121,000, to go into just see if this project is feasible, and ask either Samuels Group or Midwest Construction Consultants to move forward with the planning and drawing.
And Kevin and I spoke to Dan Cole at Carl A. Nelson Company, and they came back, 28,000, wasn't it, to do essentially the same thing, and they would bring Shive Hattery in. And when I responded to him, you know, that it was a little higher than we thought, but, you know, so then he came back and sent an email, well, maybe, well, blah, 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 who knows? But, so I ran into him the other day, and I've known Dan, we weren't close, but I've known him for a long time, and I trust him. And so anyway, so he said, you know, we could do this, and I said, we're looking at maybe getting that done a little cheaper, and he said, well, he said, that'd be fine, he said, I would tell you, he said, if you're talking to Samuel's group, he said you might wanna talk to Floyd County. And so, and I don't know, and you would expect somebody to say something like that if you get it, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't think Dan would have just made that up to tell me something like that. So I quickly Googled that, and I see there was some issues in Floyd County. But I also noticed that Midwest, they, like you said, they've done the Henry County Jail, they've done, we can call up those people, you can talk to those sheriffs, we can talk to the Board of Supervisors, anything, so I'm a little more comfortable with that, and like you said, if it is indeed $600,000, that would be something. And I know they changed, if you're gonna spend on like a building or remodel or something like that, did it used to be $500,000, cause they increased all that by.
Yeah, I don't have that memorized.
And I don't either.
Well, I've got it, it's actually on here, and it's because of Cheryl, because in our budget hearing, I had said over $750 would require a bond, and Cheryl said, well, I think that changed in House File 718, and, but when you look up the newly released law, they don't have it updated. So they actually missed that section, but when you look up the signed bill by the governor, and I put that on page 61 of House File 718, because you had to dig, they expanded it to $975,000 to not require to go to election.
Really?
They could be approved for a renovation or a county building.
Okay, cause I especially, you know, with what the guy at Midwest Construction had told you, that's interesting. I don't have any problem with all, like I said, I would lean toward Midwest, just for the reason that guy mentioned that to me,
And so we talked with the Henry County Sheriff, the Appaloosa County Sheriff, he even did a small renovation down in Lee County. So we've had those discussions, and it's interesting, when you have those conversations, everybody's gonna point out things, well, there is this and there is this, so they're not immune to having issues or changes or things that pop up, but I think that's kinda to be expected. But in the end, they are qualified, they built some very quality facilities. Have they had issues? Yes, but they also always seem to be the economical choice when counties are looking for that. And they're local. He as he said to me and Chad yesterday, is, you know, he's wanting to slow things down, and somebody being kind of in his backyard is a good project that he would like to look at, so.
well, I am curious, you know, what is it, $500,000, $600,000,
Right.
a $3 million project? You really can't, you can't even, you know, toss it around in your mind unless you have an idea of a number.
Yeah.
And I personally think that $10,000 is worth that. Yeah, I think that's
Kevin, have you figured out basically how much you'd save in transportation on this too?
So we've talked about that.
That should be thrown in there.
We've talked about that a little bit. Me and Chad were just talking about this morning, and it's kind of hard to put a number on that, because we're still gonna have to do transports. We really, when we house out of county, we try to put out of county inmates, those inmates that don't have a lot of court appearances coming, somebody that's gonna stay there for a while. Sometimes we don't have that option, because we only have so much room for females or for sex offender inmates, so we have to do that. So there are a lot of runs to those outer counties that add, you know, 1 hour that way and 1 hour back for those transports. So they have to go there and back, and then when they get done, they have to go there and back again to take them there. So it does add quite a bit of time, gas. So I think there would be several $1,000s that we'd be able to reduce
That's
through
what I-
fuel and, those are part-time positions now, through fuel and that, those wages. But to put a number on is pretty difficult, but there would definitely be savings.
You think cut it down 50%?
I don't think 50%, because we're gonna still have to do those transports, like every court appearance is gonna have to be made, and a lot of that
Yeah.
time is, most of those transports are like across the Fort Dodge to Oakdale,
Yeah.
those kind of transports, or sitting here at the courthouse waiting on appearances. It would be cut, I would guess probably closer to like 20-25%. I don't think we'd hit 50%. And their fuel mileage comes out of the sheriff's office general fuel mileage. They don't have their own fuel budget, so they're all on our account. But you know, there was a time when we were over 100 inmates on a pretty regular basis. They were putting 35,000 miles per year on 3 vehicles. It's a lot of mileage. And that would be reduced, and we have reduced that since then. But it's there's a lot of mileage getting put on our transports.
I guess one thing I would be curious about, or, you know, whether it's a good idea or bad idea, when you get a proposal, I don't know whether you got an actual proposal from Midwest, but I would have the attorney's office look at it, so if you know that if they're gonna do that, they aren't guaranteed to get the job. I understand any drawings that they would produce would belong to them, you know, where that isn't included in that, that would be their own work product. But just so it's clear, so if you could say, boy, that sounds like a lot, you know, maybe we'll reach out to Samuel's group or Shive Hattery or something like that and see if it is. But and if it does say that, maybe that's fine, but we'd like to know it.
Sure.
When
So
we sign it.
the Samuel's Group proposal states that any work product would be retained by us.
does it?
Those drawings would be ours. This doesn't, the Midwest Construction Consultants doesn't go into depth on that. And in fact, he put this together last night, so we can get together and kind of iron out those details. And we will do that. We'll make sure that we have that together, and then we'll run it through Lisa. Maybe put a copy of that out to the board. Maybe even Brian and Rodney would want to take a look at it and just, I know Lisa's gonna, she has a trial coming up, and then she's gonna be out for an extended period.
And like I said, that might not be the end of the deal, but you certainly want to know what you signed.
Sure.
When, speaking from experience.
Yes, yeah, for sure. We'll make sure that, I like the idea that those drawings belonging to us, that remains our work product, so we'll make sure that gets put into that. I feel like we're paying the $5,000 directly to the architect, so those should probably be retained by us. They aren't gonna be architectural drawings. They're
Schematic.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think this might be an opportunity.
Yeah.
Perfect. If the board's okay with it, then we'll move forward, and then next opportunity, we'll file a budget amendment to use that additional 10,000 out of the probate line. 10,000 give or take, it should be right around 10,000. We'll make all this happen, and when I have some information, I'll come back to the board with it.
The only thing I'd recommend, give the inmates an extra half hour for a pop break or something. So
An extra half hour for
yeah,
top break.
The cans add up, 5 cents a piece.
Yeah, so we brought in the touch pads now, and it's something that they can rent per day, use, but it gives them the opportunity, there's free items on there, they can watch movies, they have limited access to things on the web, it's all restricted, but they're able to rent it, and then they can buy other items, and it's another revenue generator, but it's another option to keep inmates busy that, for instance, in our general population area, there tends to be like 15-20 inmates huddled around one TV, and that's kind of where you put that number of people in any tight quarters, just give them the opportunity to kind of remain in their cell if they want to, or sit at a table without having to huddle around the TV. So it's just started that a couple days ago, and we're gonna see how that goes.
How do they decide who watches what? They vote, or the biggest guy?
Yeah, it's There's,
Something like that.
Sometimes they can't decide. That's where the issues arise.
I'll bet.
Well, we'll move forward and, we'll be back in contact then.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, congratulations on your award the other night.
Thank you.
Congratulations.